Together we strive to grow spiritually, build community, and live our values in the world. And I have some important announcements. I got you? Okay, next Sunday, during coffee hour, we are hosting a ministry fair. Right after the service, ministry chairs or a representative of the ministry will be providing information on their ministry. We hope that there will be many congregants who are interested in joining a ministry or helping out when needed. The most important thing in this congregation is our human resources. In addition, there will be a potluck lunch. Please bring something for potluck. I'm hoping that everybody will at least, if they don't want to join a ministry, at least see what everybody needs. And there's something that everybody can do. There are things that even if you can't walk good or you can't, there's something for everybody, even if you're a little bit disabled. Thank you. Our minister, Pastor Tom Bozeman, is not in the pulpit today, and when he can't be in the pulpit, we invite a guest or a member of our congregation to speak. Today we have our water service hosted by Patricia Riley-Churilla. We are currently streaming our services online. The joys and sorrow portion of the service, however, is private, and we will take a break from streaming during that portion of the service. Other than that, the service will be recorded and will be available for future viewing on Facebook, YouTube, and the church website. Due to the high transmission of the latest variant COVID, we ask that masks be worn in person attendees, and if you don't have a mask, we could supply one. Please let your Facebook and Twitter friends know that you're attending worship with hashtag First Unitarian Hobart. Now please silence your devices, take a deep breath, and another, and join us in the spirit of reverence.
If you would, join me to light the chalice. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in a celebration we share together.
Water does not resist. Water flows. When you plunge your hand into it, all you feel is a caress. Water is not a solid wall. It will not stop you. But water always goes where it wants to go, and nothing in the end can stand against it. Water is patient. Dripping water wears away a stone. Remember that, my child. Remember, you are half water. If you can't go through an obstacle, go around it. Water does. And now if you would join me, please, in hymn number 100, Peace Like a River. Special instructions are, we're just going to skip verse 5. We're going to 1 through 4. And skip verse 4 and then sing verse 5. We're going to sing the first verse again at the end. There we go. What? No 6. No 6. No 6. No 4, no 6. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Please remain standing. For the affirmation of faith, the words are printed on the laminated handouts and on your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We are striving to create a worship service that is safe, both spiritual and safe. However, we recognize that not everyone can attend in person. We extend a special welcome to anyone who is joining us virtually today, and thank you to our tech team for making this possible. For those present in the sanctuary, please take a moment to greet your neighbor by waving your hands or letting the warmth of your smile fill your face.
Sorry. This is an interesting service this morning. I thought I was doing too much I over-instructed the first song, so I didn't give any instructions for the second one. But we laugh and we go on.
I'm sorry, what was the problem?
They sang other words.
Okay, that's right.
Shall we do it again? Let's do it again.
Yes, by all means. Here we go.
Sing the words that are in your order of service. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay, who's doing joys and concerns? Somebody's doing joys and concerns this morning. Oh. Okay.
Now is the time in our service when we celebrate joys and milestones and also grieve together the sorrows in our life. If you have a joy or a sorrow or a milestone in your life that you'd like to share, please stand up and speak loudly. If anyone has trouble hearing, I will try to summarize so that everyone can appreciate. Also, this part of the service is not broadcast, so your joys and sorrows will not go on the out into the internet world. So, anybody?
today is We Are Water Protectors, written by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Riley-Churilla. Now, can you hear me now? Is that better? I'll just be louder. Waiting for it? Waiting for it? I'm glad we can do this because these drawings, these illustrations are flat out amazing. We are water protectors. Water is the first medicine, Nukamis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body, as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together to stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nukamis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning. Welcome to our annual water ceremony, one of my favorite services, one of my favorite recurring services. I'm going to begin today with a question. What were you doing in 1987 to 88? While I have my own answer to that question, and I suspect many of you do too, which I would love to hear during coffee hour, our answers are actually irrelevant to today's service. The question is merely a way to illustrate one reason why this service is so special to me. My love of personal overlaps I love to find out what someone was doing at this time when I was doing that. But let me pause for just a moment and give a little background. From about the early 1800s until around 2012, due to a connection to Harvard University in early American Unitarian history, Unitarian churches closed for the summer so that professors could travel for leisure or for further study. The water ceremony, commonly held in September, heralded the return home from vacations and back into the schools and churches. Okay, overlaps. Today, many Unitarian Universalists are gathering in their places of worship, sharing water they collected over the summer, and sharing their stories about what that water symbolizes to them. So many UU ceremonies, water ceremonies, overlapping with ours. Like thinking that a faraway loved one is looking at the same star you're looking at. This brings me joy. We are each a little more than 1/2 water. Water covers over 70% of the Earth's surface. But there is a difference in how water is procured for the Earth and for our bodies. The Earth has a hydrosphere in which moisture evaporates here and precipitates there, perpetually relying on its own water. The water of today is water from throughout Earth's history. On the other hand, I know of no species that can survive without receiving at least some water from an outside source. Notable, however, is the little kangaroo rat, a small rodent native to arid areas of Western North America. It has an average lifespan of about 2 to 5 years, and in that time, it may never actually drink. Instead, its body will metabolize the moisture it needs strictly from its diet, which consists mainly of seeds, and is only occasionally supplemented by vegetation or small insects. As Sandy read in the story, life itself began in the great ocean, and each one of us began in the lesser ocean of the womb. Water is vital for life, and yet it is a paradox. Water supports life, and it can take it away. It imparts tears of anguish and tears of joy. Water is generally transparent, odorless, colorless, tasteless, and it provides neither calories nor energy. What it does for us is allows our cells to function, to utilize calories and release energy. Without water, our cells shrink, plasma decreases, blood viscosity rises, and our heart output decreases. At this point, one is beyond merely drinking water to rehydrate, and intravenous fluids and salts are required. As much power as water holds, it is passive. It has no will of its own. The movement of water is always the effect of a cause. The runoff from the melting snow on a mountaintop, a sudden downpour, a strong current of air across the water's surface. Whether liquid water is transformed into ice or steam is dependent on the outside forces. The state of matter expressed by water is the result of its environment. Throughout the ages and across cultures, water has had various associations, both spiritual and secular. As we've discussed, it is associated with fertility. Of course, it is associated with cleansing in terms of bathing. It is also thought by many to wash away sin, by others, negative energy or feelings. Water has symbolized both calm and chaos, from a placid lake with a glassy surface to the primordial soup, primitive and undifferentiated. Water is a symbol of the subconscious, deep, dark, unfathomed. Water holds elusive mysteries and the collective memory. Because of its ability to keep us alive, Water is a strong symbol of healing. Because water is nurturing and can help us to flourish like a verdant garden, water is also associated with love. Because of its ability to take different forms, it is associated with change. Speaking of change, with climate change comes extreme weather events and rising sea levels. With corporate greed comes new construction, continuously reducing wetlands and runoff areas. Soon, water will have nowhere to go but where we live. And by our own hand, it will kill our livestock and cause catastrophic crop failure. It would be ironic if the 2020s flooding became the new 1930s Dust Bowl. Yes, water is a paradox, but we can temper it with balance. And all that said, we love water. We desire to live near water. According to census.gov in 2017, just under 30% of the population of the United States lived in coastline counties, up 15%, over 15% from the year 2000. According to the website un.org, approximately 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers or 62 miles of a coastline. I didn't find any statistics on the difference between those who live in wealthy sectors or tourist destinations juxtaposed with those who live in poverty. We here are semi-affluent, at least privileged enough to open a tap to find clean, safe, running water. We bathe daily and make pots and pots of coffee. In this area, we live near enough to Lake Michigan that it is not a hardship to go for a casual swim in its ordinarily clean water. But if you just can't get to the beach today, you may have a swimming pool. And if you don't, you probably know someone nearby who does. I'm getting some feedback over here. I keep stepping away from the pulpit. We are not Arrakis, the fictional, barely habitable desert planet in Frank Herbert's Dune universe. There, water is so rare and therefore precious that the Fremen have developed the still suit that captures and recycles the wearer's bodily moisture. In fact, as planetologist Liet Kynes is fitting Duke Leto Atreides with his still suit, Kynes explains its efficiency in this way. With a Fremen suit in good working order, you won't lose more than a thimbleful of moisture a day. We are not Sinazongwe, Zambia, where people walk miles to reach a source of water, only to have to carry that water back on their own, balancing the heavy container on their heads or strapped to their backs, often while carrying children strapped to their bodies. We are not Flint, Michigan. There, local officials chose economic concerns over the fears expressed by its residents of contamination of the city's water. The crisis was so egregious that in 2017, 5 officials, including the head of the state's health department, were charged with involuntary manslaughter. I did not know that. We are not even nearby East Chicago, Indiana, where residents were forced to leave their homes as it was revealed that their town was built on a lead Superfund site. We are not East Chicago, Flint, Sinazongwe, or even Arrakis, but we can take in lessons learned from these places and take action. If we keep in mind how privileged we are, how precious water is, and if we remember that we can fight and hold officials accountable, we can make and keep water safe for our children and our grandchildren, here and everywhere. Today, as we merge our samples of water, we do so with a sacredness worthy of that water. After today's service, some of the water will be poured out into our memorial garden to water plants and to share with those who came before us who once added their own samples of water to our bowl. The rest of the water will be filtered and boiled, poured back into a common vessel with water from our previous water ceremonies, placed in the freezer, and kept to use throughout the year when water is an appropriate element of a specific service. I now invite you to come up to the table and pour your water into the large bowl. If you did not bring water with you, don't fret. Pour out a small amount of water from one of the little containers into the bowl. Then I would like for you to say just a word or a short phrase that reflects what your water is symbolic of. And as the person who organized this service this morning, or who led this service this morning, I forgot to bring water. Thank you, everyone. This water, our water, is but a small part of the ancient and living water that makes up our greater world. We have poured our individual waters into the common vessel. I cannot find my water amid the mix. This experience I hold in common with all of you. It is another overlap that brings me joy.
Good morning. My name is Bob Overland, and I serve our church community as a member of the Faith in Action ministry. For the month of September, the Faith in Action ministry has chosen LGBTQ Outreach of Porter County as its recipient for Loose Change for Social Change. Since this is the first Sunday of the month, I'm going to take a moment now to explain what this organization does. LGBTQ Outreach of Porter County promotes an affirming community to LGBTQ plus youth and adults through empowerment, advocacy, opportunity, and support. The organization was founded in 2019 by a group of people who realized that there was no LGBTQ support organization in Porter County. The group applied for and was granted 501c3 not-for-profit status in 2020. They worked with a public administration student from IU who had come to them as part of his grad program study, and as a result of his research indicated a need in Porter County for services and programming to the LGBTQ plus community. LGBTQ Northwest Indiana, located in Lake County, Indiana, also called them to suggest developing a support group for the trans-binary population in Porter County. After 3 months of meetings with what began as a very small group of people from the trans-binary community, and a special presentation by a noted speaker from South Bend, which had 75 attendees, in person and online, this group will continue into 2023. Discover Community, a monthly gathering of the LGBTQ plus community in a downtown Valparaiso park, has completed 2 summers, and they are planning to take this program inside for the cold season. Attendance has been a minimum of 20 people and a maximum of 40 people. Additionally, a parent of a student who was being bullied at school came to this group and asked them to develop support and programming for youth. Planning is currently underway for an open door time after school so that youth may drop in and receive information, services, and support. It is this effort that our resources will be directed to help bring this vision of youth services into reality. Sean Parker Dennison, a Unitarian Universalist minister, speaker, writer, poet, and activist, who has also served on the Board of Trustees of Star King School for the Ministry, wrote an essay on the Unitarian Universalist sixth principle, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. From his essay that was included in the 7 Principles in Word and Worship, published by Skinner House Books, he writes, "You don't have to be transgender to know how it feels to be crushed into a role or a box that is uncomfortable and painful. This is at the heart of every social justice movement. Women know how it feels to be identified in ways that do not hold their strength and value. Anyone whose skin is not white knows how it feels to be limited by others' definitions of their place and power in the world. Gay, lesbian, and bisexual people know how it is to be made small by prejudice and defined by only one part of their whole being. Even straight white men with healthy bodies and strong minds know the pain of being judged and limited by other people's assumptions. All of us know. Working for world community with peace, justice, and liberty for all is a gift to the world, but also to ourselves as we become liberated from the boxes that keep us from being whole. We are on a journey toward wholeness as people and as a religious community. Please consider donating to the LGBTQ outreach Porter County today and every Sunday in September in the metal cups. Thank you. Now is the time in our service for the offering. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and friendship. We give with faith that together we have enough. The money in the baskets goes to sustaining the mission of our community. The money in the cups go to our Faith in Action ministry and a different charity chosen by the ministry every month. This month is the LGBTQ plus Support Outreach Center in Porter County. For those who are not with us today, there is an online link on the screen for both one-time and regular donations. And now can we have 4 people, volunteers who will come forward and carry the baskets and the cups. For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful.
And now, would you join me, please, in hymn number, I don't have it, hymn number 1046, Shall We Gather at the River? It is in your teal hymnals. be seated. Surrender to the flow of the river of life, yet do not float down the river like a leaf or a log, while neither attempting to resist life nor to hurry it. Become the rudder. Use your energy to correct your course to avoid the whirlpools and the undertow.
If the rain comes, they run and hide their heads. They might as well be dead. If the rain comes, if the rain comes, when the sun shines, they slip into the shade. They sip their lemonade when the sun shines. When the sun shines, rain, I don't mind. Sun, the weather's fine. I can show you that when it starts to rain, everything's the same. I can show you. Can you hear me? That when it rains and shines, it's just a state of mind. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Rain, I don't mind. Shine, the weather's fine. Can you hear me? When it rains and shines, it's just a state of mind. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Would join me to extinguish our flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we share in hearts until we are together again.